Progressive overload is a fundamental principle in resistance training that refers to gradually increasing the demands placed on your body to continue making gains. Without progressive overload, your body adapts and plateaus, meaning you stop seeing progress. However, by gradually challenging your muscles in new ways, you can keep making gains. In this video, we'll break down 10 ways to implement progressive overload in resistance training, based on the article by Charles Fountaine. First of all, be like Milo and increase the load, rooted in the mythology of Greek wrestler Milo, who hoisted a calf overhead and carried it daily as it grew into a full-sized bull. This slow yet steady increase in load is perhaps the most well-known tenet of progressive overload. 2. Complete more reps. Increasing the number of repetitions performed while keeping the load constant is another way you can implement progressive overload. For example, a rep range of 12 to 15 reps might be prescribed for a given exercise. Using the same weight, you can aim to complete more reps each workout. Once you can reach the top of the rep range, you can increase the load and start working towards the top of the new rep range again. Next is to turn up the volume. Volume is sets times reps, so doing more sets per exercise or within a training session increases your total workload. This is an ideal approach when moving from a novice to an intermediate lifter. Number 4 is all about increasing frequency of how many times per week a muscle group or movement pattern is trained. Using more training days throughout the week also allows you to spread out training volume, which could reduce how long each session takes. Number 5 is to increase training density. Training density refers to the amount of work you perform per unit of time. For example, if you previously rested for 2 minutes between sets, but now rest for 90 seconds, or keeping everything else the same, your training density is said to be increased, because you're now doing the same amount of work in less time. Number 6 is about adjusting tempo. Manipulating the speed at which repetitions are performed can be an additional option to consider in order to achieve progressive overload. While many people naturally default to a 1-second eccentric phase and a 1-second concentric phase, intentionally adjusting the tempo can provide a fresh challenge. Number 7 is go into failure. Instead of stopping once a set number of reps has been achieved, the option to extend the set to a point of momentary failure, where no further concentric reps can be performed, can be a very appealing option to increase the demand of a session, particularly for individuals short on time or following single-set protocols. Number 8 is to use autoregulation. Autoregulation is a method used to monitor and adjust training intensity based on how you feel during a workout. A modified 0 to 10 rate of perceived exertion scale, based on the concept of reps in reserve, is an emerging option for individuals considering autoregulation, with reps in reserve being the number of reps you have left in the tank after completing a set, i.e., how many more reps could you have completed before reaching failure. On this scale, an RPE of 10 equals reps in reserve 0, meaning you couldn't do another rep, it was your max effort. An RPE of 9 equals reps in reserve 1, meaning you had 1 rep left in the tank, and so on. Progressive overload can be implemented by increasing your RPE or decreasing your reps in reserve over successive workouts. Number 9 is exercise variety. Using a variety of exercise options for a given muscle group or movement pattern not only helps you keep your workout interesting, but it can also serve as a way to support ongoing progression. And last but not least, it's recommended to track your training. Whether you use a notebook, an app on your phone, or a spreadsheet, consistent record keeping helps you stay organized, track progress over time, and avoid relying on memory from week to week. Monitoring your workouts helps to make sure you're applying progressive overload effectively. And that concludes the summary of 10 ways to implement the principle of progressive overload when resistance training. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.